Hello VC, Tony here. Tony's LPs are us. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about this classic. I really never discussed it on my channel. Really want to do a whole review of it, but I'm just going to clean this one. I found 2 copies today at a thrift store. There was a whole slew of Herb Alpert albums, and I have all Herb Alpert albums, but I was mostly interested in these because whenever I see these, I buy them. Now, the ones I bought today were 2 mono copies, and I'll show you there, and we're going to clean one of them here. Now, what's interesting about this mono copy is the Taste of Honey is highlighted in yellow, and you can see there's a different color variation for the rest of the songs: Tangerine, Love Potion Number 9, Lemon Tree, Lollipops, and Roses, Peanuts. And this is A&M LP 110. And here is another copy of LP 110, but the Taste of Honey is not highlighted in yellow. So I'm not sure what that signifies. We haven't seen any like that before, although I think I do have another copy of it in yellow. But today I kind of noticed it because I found 2 of them at the same place, and one was highlighted in yellow and one wasn't. I thought originally a Taste of Honey in yellow was stereo, but these are both mono. And here we have the delectable cover, which sold millions of copies, over 6 million copies. And this isn't whipped cream, it's actually shaving cream. The whipped cream was melting under the lights of the studio, but on her fingers, of course, is really whipped cream. Don't know what kind of whipped cream, don't know what kind of shaving cream either. But I thought that was interesting. Here's the rear cover. You can see this cover is in really good shape for the vintage 1965. And here you have a Taste of Honey, green peppers, tangerine, bittersweet samba, lemon tree, whipped cream, lollipops and roses, peanuts, butterball, ladyfingers, El Garbanzo, and Love Potion Number 9. Now, it's interesting that I just noticed again that this is kind of a food concept album. And the first song that basically kind of was the genesis of this record was Whipped Cream. That was recorded first, maybe as a single, and then they built an entire delectable album from it, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. Now, these are both mono, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull out the stereo one, and stereo here is indicated here, and it's also indicated on the label. But here, a Taste of Honey is not highlighted. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And another interesting fun fact about this record is this was not Herb Alpert's touring group that recorded this record. It was actually the famous Wrecking Crew. Hal Blaine, also in this portion of the Wrecking Crew, or this configuration of Wrecking Crew, was the famous keyboard player, songwriter, singer, was Leon Russell. So Leon Russell is on this record. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put it in the VPI vacuum cleaning record machine, talk about it after I clean one side, and then later on, like I said, I'll listen to it and I'll tell you how it came out. But you can see there's a lot of scratches and scuffs, and this is definitely a VG record. But sometimes VG records sound really good. Now this record, this album won 4 Grammy Awards. A Taste of Honey was Record of the Year. This was the 8th, I believe, the 8th annual Grammy Award in 1966, actually March of 1966, and it won 4 Grammys. It won for Best Instrumental Arrangement, it won for Best Instrumental Performance, and Best Engineered Recording Non-Classical, and of course it won A Taste of Honey. And A Taste of Honey, when that award was given, it was given to Herb Alpert by the comedian Jerry Lewis. And I don't believe that was even filmed. It might not be filmed. But this record sold 6 million copies. It was number 1. 4 of the songs from this album are featured on the swinging 60s show The Dating Game. I believe it was ABC. This is a number 1 album. It's a really short album, and I think that's why it sounds so good. This album for me is an audiophile album. I have some that are near mint. These obviously aren't going to sound as good, but this record is so well recorded, and it actually did win an engineering award, so that was pretty cool. But the entire album clocks in at 28 minutes and 22 seconds, so what's that? Say 14 minutes a side rather than the average 19, 20 minutes a side that we get for most albums of this era and modern era. So I think I'm always under the opinion that when there's less music, the more wax for those grooves, the record's going to sound good. So we're going to actually clean this. We're going to turn it on. Here we go. We're going to use our stuff that we clean with, and I basically talked about that in some previous videos. Now, I'm sure this record's going to sound good because, like I said, these A&M mono records are almost indestructible. This record was probably on changers where the records dropped on each other, and those big consoles that we all have with a TV in the middle and perhaps an 8-track player. So what I do is I really get into the grooves. I'm not going to rinse this with distilled water that I usually do. I'm just going to get really deep in here. But again, this record is just a fabulous sounding record, and it's their biggest selling record. Herb Alpert'S Tijuana Brass. It's their biggest selling record of all time, and the cover within itself sold a lot of records, I'm sure. Now I'm going to give this another wash to really get in there deep. And I was lucky enough, I found 2 of these today for $1 each. And like, I don't know if I said before, but maybe I was thinking of it when I was trying to think of a script for this. But there was a whole collection of Herb Alpert and Tijuana Brass records, The Lonely Bull, a couple of others, but of course I focused in on this one. There was another one where the jacket was actually taped up with really cheap masking tape, so I let that there. But I did check the vinyl, and these vinyls were the better vinyl than the one that was taped up. So Record of the Year sold over 6 million records. It's just been reissued recently, and I think there was a 40th anniversary issue also a few years ago, whenever the 40th edition was. There's one that just came out on green vinyl, if you could believe that. But it's funny that this is actually a concept record, a concept of food. Herb Alpert did not like this cover initially, thought it was too risque. The model's name is Dolores. She was 3 months pregnant underneath all this shaving cream she had on a bikini, and she was also 3 months pregnant, I believe, with her son. So that's some really cool stuff. But what I really thought was interesting was that let's do this here. Yeah, what I really thought was interesting was that the Wrecking Crew recorded this album in a studio, and except for Herb Alpert's stunning trumpet. And it also read that most of their studio albums were the Wrecking Crew. The band that he took on tour did not record for the most part on his records. And what I do is I just wipe that off, and these labels are pretty good. The tan A&M label is one of my favorite labels. So we're going to look at this. You can see the spindle wear here as well on this record. And like I said, these were, the other one is basically the same kind of VG, but that cleaned up pretty good. You could see these here. But what I'll do in another video, I will probably talk about the same stuff I talk about because we need content. But you can see this cleaned up pretty good. It looks a lot better now than it did before, and I recommend you get a VPI or a Nitty Gritty or some type of vacuum cleaner, or of course an ultrasound cleaner. But I love the VPI. This is a real workhorse. It's more expensive than some of the other lesser models, but you do get what you pay for. So if you want to spend a little more money, I guess you'll get a lot more use out of your vacuum record machine cleaner. Here's the rear, and You could see here, of course, all the songs have to do with food. And Love Potion number 9, even though it's a potion, I guess it's drinkable. So here's the great Herb Albert. And there's the catalog. So it's, yeah, the records I saw today was The Lonely Bull. And I think this one, On the Border, South of the Border. And also this one I did see. It was a whole collection. So that's about it. I just wanted to clean these for you and give you some more insight into this record. I forgot to show, but here's the original inner. And the inner is a catalog from A&M. Herb Albert. Herb Albert also did the music for one of my favorite James Bond soundtracks, and that's Casino Royale 1967, which was a spoof. But the music is, in my opinion, the best Bond soundtrack. And just again, the Wrecking Crew recorded this record. You have featuring, I think the bass player is a female, Carol Kay, Leon Russell piano, Hal Bain drums, Chuck Bernhofer on double bass, and that was the core of this record. And I believe that they recorded most of Herb Alpert's records that were made, but of course the touring band was different. And this record reached number 1 on the Billboard charts around November 27, 1965. In all, it spent about 140 weeks in the top 40 and 61 weeks in the top 10. The spring and summer of 66 was the high watermark for this album. For the week ending May 21st, 66, Whipped Cream and Other Delights was the number 8 album and one of 5 Tijuana Brass albums on the Billboard charts at the same time. So they were hitting it real strong. Only the Beatles and Prince and Taylor Swift kind of replicated that type of chart, dominance. You can read all about it online, Wikipedia. I'm just going over some of my notes here. But again, really cool record. There it is there. This actually on the catalog has A Taste of Honey in gold for the honey. So if you know anything about that, please let me know. I couldn't find any information on variants, but I'm sure out there the Tijuana Brass people and of course this record, Whipped Cream and Other Delights, it has to be in everyone's collection. I used to see them all the time. They're getting rarer and rarer out there in the wild. So keep rocking. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.